Hey guys, BiXX here. Welcome to Mentoring Monday. So I've been doing these Mentoring Monday talks for about 2 years, and each week it becomes even more challenging to come up with a new topic, especially, when I've done some really powerful talks. How do I top what I've done before? Well, when something happens to me during the week, sometimes an idea just kind of pops in my mind. So today's topic is going to be what I think is the most powerful advice that I've ever given. The most powerful and easiest to do. When I say easy, it's because you can control this and it costs you zero money. It's actually free. It's all about habit, mindset, and a better understanding of the damage that's caused by not doing this. So better understanding the consequences of your actions. Many of you heard me say in previous talks, the number one thing you can do to build a very strong brand is make a promise, keep a promise. So you may have guessed, today's topic is keeping your word will make your life better. There's so much to talk about that I'm going to do this in 2 parts. I do a monthly video called BiXX World, and I invite a guest DJ to join me each month. Past guests have included Darren Porter, Alan Watts, and Rinaldi. All 3 I consider really good friends. The guests receive a free video for their socials with a custom-built stage and set of their choosing. The concept, I think, is quite spectacular. In each episode, we keep raising the bar. Very cutting edge. And I have a great guy that I work with, guy Adam from Nowhere World. A top DJ duo happily agreed to be my next guest for the upcoming BiXX World in May. Personally, I thought it would be a big help to them and a big asset for their video channel and their socials. Then a month later, they messaged me back and canceled, giving me some kind of a weak excuse. They've obviously never been taught the value of keeping your word. If keeping your word is a value or a standard for you, it will lead to a better life and better life experiences. For me personally, I'm very fortunate that it has helped me achieve financial independence and allows me to do what I want to do at this stage of my life, especially trance music and DJing and traveling. Keeping your word means doing what you say you will do. I often say what you do and do what you say. Make a promise, keep a promise. We often don't realize not keeping our word becomes a habit because it gets easier and easier to do because it becomes our new normal. Just like quitting can become a habit. My father taught me to never quit at anything that I started. I made a promise and an obligation. He also taught me how to become a man of my word. This life lesson, or these life lessons, have stayed with me. I have honored my commitments, whether I like it or not, because the value of honoring the commitment was more important than the short-term pain, the inconvenience, or even the benefit to me. Just a philosophy that's ingrained in my brain. The long-term benefit sometimes is really hard to see, but it's big. When you have a reputation of keeping your word, people trust you. And the universe will constantly present you with new and better opportunities. Success in life is dependent on how you manage the opportunities that come your way. So why do so many people, including myself, in the past, struggle with keeping our word? We're not intentional about the words we use. How many times do you hear the word, "I'll try"? Well, quite frankly, try is a built-in excuse to fail. The word do, as in I will do, is an action word that implies commitment, determination, and victory. Winners do, losers try. We forget what we've said or what we've agreed to. I often forget, but once reminded, I made an agreement. In my mind, my only option is to honor my agreement because it's a habit. And I've made it priority number one because that's who I am. I want to be a person who could be trusted. Another reason is we're unaware that we've agreed to something. This can be tricky because sometimes the other person may have just misunderstood. And sometimes, which I despise this, the other person's trying to manipulate us. I run from that. They're out there. Sometimes we try to renegotiate what we've committed to. Have you ever had that happen before? Well, I thought we agreed to this. No, but this happened or that happened, or I needed to do this. Well, the time to renegotiate terms is before the handshake. The time to make the agreement or change the agreement is before the agreement is made, before the handshake. So once the agreement is made, you need to honor it. Another reason might be we just don't want to do what we said we're going to do. So we should think long and hard about the effort required to do what we promised before making the agreement. Think first and then agree after careful thought. Notice how I paused. Another reason is we overcommit ourselves and do not allow enough time to do what we said we'd do. Personally, I have a hard time saying no and have to constantly focus at being better at this. Sometimes we shift our attention to something else without understanding the implications of our commitments. If you have people like that, they just got way too much going on in their lives. They don't finish things. With championship sports teams, you often hear the term finish. Champions finish their tasks. When we pay more attention to the words that we use and what we are committing to, keeping our word will not be an issue. I find it helpful to end a conversation and to summarize what we've agreed to do. Then I ask, is this correct? Do I have a correct understanding of the agreement? A yes answer means both sides agree and there's an agreement made. Or a no answer may mean that there's further clarification that's necessary before we can have an agreement. Now I want to talk about the costs of not keeping your word. This is what it's really important to think about. And many people don't make this effort. What truly amazes me about a lot of people in the world is most people do not understand the price they will pay for the choices that they make. We'll pay a heavy price for not consistently keeping our word. Not keeping your word will affect your relationships with ourselves or with yourself and others. Once someone is discovered and labeled as someone who does not keep their word, there'll be less opportunities in their life. People don't want to work with them. You ever seen like a blacklist of Hollywood because they're too difficult to work with? They used to make all this money. Charlie Sheen's one of them. They'll have to work much harder to find new opportunities because opportunities won't find them. This is also how karma works. You want great opportunities to come into your life without much effort, just keep your word. So when we don't keep our word, the cost can include the following. As I mentioned before, missed opportunities. But I want to say it again. This is really important. People who don't keep their word get passed up due to their bad reputation. Life is so much easier and more fun when opportunities find us. Damaged relationships. Sadly, people talk more about when something bad happens than they do when something good happens. Word will travel fast when you don't keep your word. It will negatively affect your relationships. Having a reputation as an unreliable person. I mentioned the DJs who backed out of their commitment to a few other people. I was told that they've had similar experiences with them. I call this type of behavior creating your own glass ceiling. It limits advancement and it keeps us stuck. Conflicts with others. It's never fun to be told someone is breaking their commitment or breaking their word. It creates conflict and disappointment on both sides. experiencing guilt or remorse. I know I often feel guilty if I let somebody down. I feel rewarded when I follow through with a promise, and guilt or remorse if I don't. Knowing these costs and these, what I call pain points or consequences, should make us more aware of what we are saying or agreeing to. Another thing I want to mention is that keeping your word is not dependent whether it benefits you in this particular situation. Many people only keep their word when it benefits them for a given situation. You should keep your word because you made a promise. Not keeping your word will have greater negative long-term consequences, and often consequences we just cannot immediately see. There's a lot to talk about on this topic, so I'll do this in a two-part topic. Next week, I'll talk about the 5 major reasons keeping your word will improve your life. So until next week, this is BiXX signing off. And remember, it's never too late to reinvent yourself and start keeping your word. Cheers.